In this video, we're going to talk about how to create your event. You should have already created your event through Discover Ireland, but there's other places to create an event, such as your website. This is the first video of Fáilte Ireland's Get Digital Ready video training series for Taste the Island. It's very important that you watch all 4 videos. This one is about creating an event. The second video is telling your event story. In this, we'll share details of what type of content you need to be creating. In the third video, we'll talk about bringing your event to life through social media. This is really all about content creation. And the final video is about getting your message out there. How you get your content seen in front of hundreds or thousands of people. Before you start creating any content, you need to be very clear about who you are targeting. It's great writing out details of the different types of groups you want to attend your event. Think about things like, where do they live? Are they local? Do they come from surrounding counties, or maybe they're international? Do they come to the event on their own, or are they with families? What ages are they? What are they typically interested in experiencing at similar events? So this information is going to be very important when we are creating content, because the text we use, images we share, and videos we create will all be different depending on who we're targeting. Now, we have provided a workbook with this training, and we have created an example of this that you'll find very helpful, so have a look at the workbook. You should have already created your event on Discover Ireland, but you should also create an event on one or more of the following. So your website. This is the best option because you own your website. You have full control over the content, which includes images and video. You can also easily capture details of anyone that's considering going to the event so that you can continue to market to them even in the future, now or in the future. Social media. On Facebook, you can create an event which can be done in conjunction with your website. The great thing about creating an event on Facebook is that a lot of friends of people that register will hear about the event. And you can also link the Facebook event to your website so you can get even more information and book from there. There's also good event software created specifically for events, which enables people to register for the event, buy tickets, and get regular updates about the event. Event software is an easy way to get an event up and running, but you don't have the same level of control as your website. Again, in our workbook, we have outlined the main advantages and disadvantages of using your website, Facebook events, or using event-specific software. So that's definitely worth checking out. Here's an example of an event page I wouldn't recommend. The images are so small it's hard to see them, and even if they were larger, it wouldn't help because the images are really poor anyway. The fonts are poor, there's too much text in one small place, and over on the right hand side it's full of advertisement, which is just distracting. I definitely not recommend creating a page like this. This event page doesn't look as bad, but it's still lacking a lot of information and it has no imagery or video. If you want to convert your visitors, you really need compelling imagery, great content, and there needs to be enough information to help convince the person to sign up. Remember, there are a lot of events going on, so you need to work a little bit harder to ensure they pick your event over someone else's. This event has a really nicely designed page with great information. I love how they've taken this a step further and created a nice logo for the event, and they use these colors throughout the event page. You may not want to create a new logo, but you do want to consider the colors and fonts you use on the page and make sure it's consistent. Now, as we scroll through the page, we see details of all the different areas to visit at the festival. There's a great video which will give people an alternative to reading content. Video really captures what an event could be like, and some people like reading and some people like watching a video. They have details of how to get tickets, some nice imagery, and information on how to get there. So overall, that's a really nicely designed page. When you're creating your page, it's worth putting the effort in because I hope that you will run the same event next year and the year after and the year after that. Here's another example, and we start off by seeing a couple of great images. We see details of the event. We then see some great sponsors of the event, and I recognize a lot of the logos. When we see brands we recognize supporting the event, this helps us convince us to go to the event. And then we have directions and some more great imagery. Again, this is another really good page. When you're creating these pages, just consider it has to be mobile compatible. You know the majority of our audience is taking out their mobile device and looking up your event. So make sure it works well on a mobile device. You want to make sure it's easy to find on the website. So don't bury the events on some other page in your website. Make sure on your home page you promote the event. Now, we'd highly recommend you use the Tasty Island logo with a little bit of information about the event that links off to the event. So on your home page, have that Tasty Island logo. Everybody is hearing about Tasty Island. There's a massive campaign about it. So being associated with that brand is going to really help drive more people to your event. Think about international visitors. So, local people may know about you and your brand. You could be well known. International visitors may know nothing about you. So make sure your event page has enough information for them. And there's a lot of different events going on. So your event needs to clearly be distinguished from other events in the area. So what makes your event different? And of course, I can't emphasize this enough. You need to have strong imagery. And if you can, have video. Now, video could also just be a collection of images put together in a video. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Here's an example of Cork Oyster and Seafood Festival using the Tasty Island logo, and you can see a bit of text, celebration of Ireland's food and drink. So it's great to get that on your website. So have that on the homepage of your website linking off to your event. Now, when you're creating your event on your website, don't forget about other people that can help promote the event. So reach out to people that have a good online presence, a good website, and see if they can help promote the event. For example, are there restaurants, bars, or hotels in the area that could benefit from the event being run in the town? Maybe there's other local attractions. Or for example, have you got some advertisers or sponsors? Well, as part of the agreement, you might convince them to promote the event on their website as well. This is good for you, but also good for them. Or there could be local networks or tourism offices locally that would be more than happy to promote the event. So here's an example of an event in Fernhill Hotel, and it's Tasty Island History and Garden Walk. It's promoted on Wild Atlantic Way website. So on here, this website generates some good traffic, so it's a good way of getting attention to your event, and you can link off on pages like this to your event website where you have your event, or it could be a Facebook event. Now, talk about Facebook events. Here's an example of a Facebook event. You have imagery here. People can click a button saying they're interested or going. You can see other people are going to the event. This information gets shared across social. And you can also link from here to a website or to another event software application. So you can use a combination of this and a website. My preference for an event would be creating a web page for my event on my website and also having a Facebook event. Eventbrite, we mentioned Eventbrite as an example. There are many other great applications that provide this functionality. It allows you to easily create an event. People can click a button to easily register. You can collect payment. So it's great having this, especially if you want payment and you're charging for the event and you don't want to, have to pay for that to be set up on your website. This can be a quick way of getting it up and running. Of course, they'll charge commission on anything that's sold as well. Take a look at the workbook and look at the advantages and disadvantages of each, and that's going to help you make your decision. Now, you want to optimize your event listing. So you want to create good content. You want to, when I say SEO, I'm talking about search engine optimization. That just means you want it to appear high up on Google. You want to have good imagery and video. So let's start off with the content side. You just need to make sure in the content that you really describe what the event is about. You say why it's interesting, important, describe the location, things you're going to do with it, give any sensory details like smell, sound, taste, any incentives to register and buy to encourage people to sign up, ability to share. So you want people sharing this across on social media to get the message out. And social proof, when we talk about social proof, we talk about mentioning maybe a quote. Irish Independent says this is a great event. That's some influential site saying a good thing about it. Or a person says really, great things about your event and they're well known. That's social proof. If you create this, good detailed content, that's going to give Google lots of information to help it to rank it correctly in Google. So you want it to appear on page 1 if possible. Now, when you're optimizing an event for Google, there's a couple of things that are really important here. So you can see there's a title and a description. Every time you search on Google, the first line you see is a title, and then you have a description. Now you can see here in the title it names the Gin and Rum Festival, it names the location, and then it says it's part of the Food and Drink Festival in Bolton. So that's a good title. So when people are searching for Bolton Food and Drink Festival, they may come across here. Or if they search Gin and Rum Festival, they may come across this page. So think about what you would do. Maybe it's the name of the event, but make sure to always include a location if you can, and mention Tasty Island, because people are going to be searching for Tasty Island. The description underneath is just a more detailed description, so make sure you get your web guys to put in a good detailed description and a good title. When I actually go to the page, I see the heading on the page is Gin and Rum Festival, so it's important to have a good heading as well. Now, in the workbook, I've outlined more specific guidelines that you may just give to your web guy and say, just make sure it's optimized correctly for Google, because you want to get more free traffic. You'll need to create great imagery for your event. We've seen earlier on how an event can look so dull if it doesn't have good imagery or video. So look for imagery that's visually appealing. I mean, experiential imagery is people experiencing the things that are going to happen at the event. So you might create a scene where you create those pictures so people can see what's going to happen at the event. You may consider a professional photographer to create some of those pictures as well. And they will know all about the technicals in terms of the color, lighting, angles, things like that, which can get quite complicated if you want good quality imagery. If you have influencers going to be at the event, for example, you have a chef that's well known, make sure you've got pictures of that person and maybe even a quote from that person, and that's going to help influence people to go to the event. You want to make sure that the pictures are relevant and targeted. So use pictures to show the type of the event is, but also who you're targeting. Earlier on, we talked about who you're targeting. If you're targeting a family, that picture is going to be different than if you're targeting a young single person. So really think about the imagery and who you're actually targeting. Try video. So a video, of course, is great. Video can just be a collection of images put together a video. It could be just a short video clip. This is quite a nice video celebrating the Oyster Festival. Now they've had the festival already, so they've captured that video, but you could create a video of what's coming, you know, what's likely to be experienced at the event. Really do think about the video side. Video drives more engagement, just more people will look at it and more people are going to be more likely to book when you use video. So just a summary, one, pick the right platform. So think about, you know, yes, you have it on Discover Ireland, but what about your website, social media through Facebook, a Facebook event, or you have another platform? In our workbook, we do outline the advantages and disadvantages of each. So it's really important to look at that and also think about combining multiple platforms. So for example, have a website and also have a Facebook event. Again, in the workbook, that's going to help you there. Invest some time in creating a great events page. We showed you an example of really poor event pages and really great event pages where they really thought about the color, the fonts, the imagery, the video, a location map, really useful, helpful page. So investing in that will definitely increase the numbers of people coming to your event. And last but not least, if you have a Discover Ireland event, which I hope you have, everybody should have, email nationalevents@vultureireland.ie if you want to update your event on Discover Ireland. So thank you, and make sure to move on to the next video.